This is going different from everything that's on YouTube. I have not seen anybody on YouTube say this. And I watch like a lot of videos where you talk about advice and stuff and they say gear doesn't matter. I completely disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because not based off of public consumption of art, but rather my expectancy for my art. What up, y'all? My name is Mihkail Cooper. I'm a filmmaker here in South Bend, Indiana. My company is Just Visuals LLC, and you are watching What's Your Hustle Podcast.
What's your hustle? What do you do? Here to bring money and attention to you. A lot of people want to know, you gotta give them the truth. Here to run the numbers up, we about to go through the roof. What's your hustle? What's your hustle? Here to talk about your grind, how you spend your time. We done brought you to the show, you gotta speak what's on your mind. What's your hustle? What's your hustle? What's your hustle? What's your hustle?
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of What's Your Hustle Podcast. And today we got a special guest. Today we got Mihkail Cooper, which he's one of the dopest videographers that I ever came across out here in South Bend, Michiana area. When I first got started, it was only two people I always used to see. That was either Mihkail Cooper or Jimmy Ball. Jimmy Ball specialized in music videos. Mihkail Cooper specialized in weddings. From time to time, you will see his name pop up on little stuff, but majority of the time, it was always weddings, and he always produced high quality work. He's one of the ones that I always looked up to and admired, and I'm not ashamed to say, be like. who doesn't want to produce great work? We all have people that we look up to, and he's one of the ones that I looked up to, especially within my city. I'm trying to get him on the podcast for a minute, but he's been busy with family and just life and running his business. But today, y'all, we got him on. So without further ado, Mihkail Cooper, what's going on, brother?
Man, I'm blessed and I'm honored to be here. Man, I'm appreciative to have the opportunity to chop it up with you, and hopefully I can learn something from this as well, and not just give out information that has been imparted to me, but being able to dialogue with you. And I'm inspired by what you do as well, brother. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm inspired to see another black man in business and doing good for himself, and trying to enlighten the community. How you do, you know what I mean, through video, you know, through podcasts. So I'm appreciative, and I'm blessed to have this opportunity with you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, my brother. Before we hop off on the podcast, let people know where they can find you at on social media.
I mean, when I'm on social media, you can check me out at Mihkail Cooper on Facebook. I got an Instagram. I really don't do the social media thing like that. But so like when people ask about like where can they see me or see my work, I would say like send them directly to the website. So my wedding website for my wedding films is www.jvweddings.com. And then my like every other piece of work that I do is on www.justvisualsmedia.com. That's where you can see my work. My about me, I've been, you know, so yeah, you can check out my stuff there.
Okay, bet. So how did you get started with running your video production company? Like what made you even want to do it?
That's a good question. I think my senior year at Clay High School, which was like 2006, going into 2007, class of 07. We had this class called IOL. It was taught by this lady named Mrs. Lorch. She was amazing. The class taught nothing but like Adobe-based software. So you go in, you get Mac computers across the entire room, and they taught the arts of photography and video. So once I got photography is cool, but like imagery that moves has always been my thing. So like once I got a video camera in my hand, it was a wrap. Like I could not put it down. I was making shorts, all kind of stuff, man. I still got one of the DVDs that has some of my work on it from high school at the crib. So I kind of occasionally show the kids that stuff every once in a while or whatever to see, kind of let them see where I started. But yeah, I learned at school, man. And from there, I'm extremely my faith drives a lot of what I do. So like my first company was actually CVP, and it was Christ Vision Productions, and it was just like I was making a lot of short films. Oh, I had or concepts rather that I wanted to do under that umbrella. But then I think the opportunity to have and do corporate and other types of work kind of arose. So I kind of changed the company name from Christ Vision Productions to Just Visuals Media, but it's a double entendre. So it's like just Visuals Media is like it's just visuals, but at the same time, I'm a firm believer in what the Lord has done through His Son Jesus and how He has made us just. That should kind of flow out in every aspect of our lives. So you have just visuals. Like when you see my work, it's justified. You know what I mean? So it's just I want to kind of play on that word. I'm always kind of like that. I'm always kind of like doing innuendos and things like that. But yeah, so I was introduced in high school to the class. Mr. Storch put me on, and I ain't put down a camera since 2011 is when I started doing work for hire. I think my first gig, I did a drum promotional video for Cameron Diggins. Shout out to Cameron and the whole Diggins family. They've been believing in me and stuck with me from day one. I'm truly appreciative of that. And when I got that, and my first wedding was in 2011 as well, for Cameron and Tamara Jones. Shout out to them. And it was just like once I got my first 2 paying clients, it was just like, all right, I could probably do something with this. It was regardless of how small I was. I think I charged $400 for my first wedding, and it was crazy because I look back on it now. I think I still got the video. I think. But I think one of the older sisters at the wedding, she was just like, what's up, Spike Lee? And it was just like, I would hear this stuff all the time, man. But it would just be like, I never, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, man, but I never thought that highly of what I was doing to be on the same plateau or even have people like kind of reference me in that light. It's kind of just, I've been kind of just finding my artistry. And I'm still finding it. And I've been, since 2011. So we a good 11 years in now, I'm still finding out things about myself when it comes to my art.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, I've been doing it for a while and I'm still finding out a lot about myself and what it is that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to explore more into. So yeah, so that's what's up. So after you got your first couple of clients, like how did you begin to build upon that?
Word of mouth, man. Word of mouth. To this day, like it's been 11 years and I've never been one to go out fishing for work. Like it is the Lord has been gracious and always supplying work, like from my weddings to like documentary pieces, corporate work. It has always been word of mouth. I believe that is the best form of advertisement because people converse about life day to day. So if something comes up and they're just like, oh, I know a guy who can do X, Y, and Z. And then my name pops up for whatever reason and that person contacts me for work. But word of mouth has been just like my bread and butter, especially with weddings. But yeah, so I think I did like Wedding Wire and The Knot for like my wedding stuff. And those are like wedding vendor advertisement companies, like websites. And I tried that for like a year or two. And it was just like, it was a huge personal aspect to the marketing missing for me. I think what sells people a lot is my personality and my work ethic. And unless you are able to hear about it or see it firsthand, it may be hard for that to be translated through my work the way that I would like it to be translated. So I typically, like if I meet with a couple or a client, it's not that I'm just like, they've seen my work, but at the same time, I want to sell them on my ability to direct, my ability to make things flow, my editing capabilities and things like that. And that happens from conversation. So, but I do feel like word of mouth has always been and still is reign supreme in regards to my work.
So how did you go about developing like your system in terms of like how you deal with clients?
Trial and error. There was a lot of trial and error starting out. I think once I got it, there was a lot of handling things manually on the back end that can burn you out, especially like if you're doing everything from A to Z. Like as far as clerical tasks on the back end, it could burn you out if you don't have a system that you can kind of use to help easy that burden. You know what I mean? So like now I use HoneyBook, and HoneyBook has been absolutely amazing for what I do. But like early on, it was just like, all right, I was sending out paper contracts. Like, and that is not the way to go. So it was just like I was sending out paper contracts, and then I adapted the ability to have customers sign contracts like electronically. But yeah, it was, I think once I found a bookkeeping system, because I think I used to do QuickBooks as well early on. And I used to generate invoices and everything from there and have my client information and contact information stored into that system. But again, once I found HoneyBook, and I found HoneyBook last year, it has been a godsend.
So before HoneyBooks, that's all you was doing was just paper and...
Yeah, so paper early starting out, but then like I would say like the larger portion, I would say like maybe a good 7 years. I was using QuickBooks.
So you still use QuickBooks, but not in terms of like sending out invoices.
I don't use QuickBooks at all. I use HoneyBook for everything.
What about for what am I trying to say? You know, for tax purposes, keeping track of expenses and that sort of thing. Do you still use
HoneyBook? HoneyBook takes care of everything.
HoneyBooks does that?
Yeah.
That portion too?
Yeah.
So what about spitting out like profit and loss statement?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Nah, I've been sleeping on HoneyBooks then.
Yeah, man, they got it all. They got it all. So I do everything. Every single gig that I do goes exclusively through HoneyBook.
The only thing that I didn't really like about HoneyBook, because I tried it a little bit, and in theory, I liked it. I liked it how everything flowed and went together, but I just didn't like the look of it though. I always felt it was like clunky, like, you know what I'm saying? It like a little dated, like in some aspects, especially from the client end user compared to like other like softwares or, you know, apps or stuff that I have used. But now I'm at the point like, I'm thinking HoneyBooks is they starting to win over.
Yeah, it's different. I think with HoneyBook, it allows me to kind of see what my customer sees as well, what my clients see. So like I can draw up templates and draw up invoices or contracts and see exactly what they will see on the receiving end prior to me sending it out. So it's just like I'm able to kind of proof it, if you will. And that's been extremely helpful in making sure that my brand lives up to the professionalism that I abide by. Yeah.
Okay. So on a scale of like 1 to 10, what would you get HoneyBook?
Right now, because hopefully they add some features, but they got some pretty deep stuff, like dope stuff in there. But I would probably rate it a good 8.5. Yeah, I would get a good 8.5.
That's pretty high up there.
Yeah, I'm giving them some wiggle room to impress me some more. So HoneyBook, if you see this, hit me up. Yeah. I got some suggestions.
Okay. What other, like, since we on softwares and stuff, like what other softwares or apps do you use to like help make your life a lot easier as an entrepreneur?
That's a real good question, man. I think as far as editing goes, I started out using Adobe Premiere. Man, if I could take you back to Sony Vegas, like seriously, like I remember my senior year when I first started CVP, Christ Vision Productions. Bro, I was using Sony Vegas. Bro, I was like, and I didn't even think about this until you asked me, man. It's just, I was so enamored with video work, man. It was just like, I'm tired of Windows Movie Maker. Let me get something legit. So I went out and I bought Sony Vegas from like, it was like, what is Circuit City? Back when Circuit City was around. So this is, man, I'm dating myself. So it's like, well, I went there, bought that, and I was using that, and then I upgraded to Premiere, and I was using Premiere for a vast majority of my career. But Premiere is not trustworthy to me. crashes, and I remember I had edits crashing and I couldn't recover anything, or I had to start over from scratch, and I was done pretty much. And so now I am completely 100% dedicated to DaVinci Resolve. It has been perfect for me and my workflow. I do all of my editing, color correction, color grading inside of DaVinci. And it's my go-to. I don't really have to dabble in After Effects too much. But if I do, there's like a portion of the DaVinci Resolve software called Fusion that I can kind of use to produce any type of like motion graphics and things like that, or lower thirds or whatever it may be. But yeah, DaVinci Resolve, as far as like productive apps that have actually helped me with productivity, I think I got this this journaling app called, I think it's called One Daily. It's on my iPad. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. I think it's One Daily though. But being able to journal my days has been, man, that's probably one of the most special apps to me, because with my personality and my personality type, I need something that can differentiate and separate my days. So being able to journal about what happened on this day and that day and this day, and it allows me to kind of go back and read, so I can kind of figure out in detail as opposed to kind of just going off my memory. So I think it's called Day One. It's in the Apple App Store, and I think outside of them two pieces of software, man, I'm not really using too much else. I do a lot of my stuff. I'm really loyal. I'm extremely loyal when it comes to like brand loyalty. So if something is treating me right, you got a good chance that I'm gonna stay with you for a while. So yeah, that's what I meant with those two.
That's what's up. I'm gonna have to download that, especially since I'm new to the Apple family.
Welcome. Glad you came on over, brother. No more green bubbles.
Came on over. I said, hey, no, but I still got my Android over there, but I got the iPhone too and the Mac. And
There we go.
I'm probably gonna go ahead and switch all the way over my family too and get us all on the iPhone.
That sounds like a plan. That's solid.
Hey, they better. I hate to say it, but they better than PC, and I've been PC.
Oh yeah,
20 plus years.
I just switched the whole ecosystem over.
So
yeah.
I tell people, I say Apple's slogan should be "We just work."
This is true.
Because it
That's
has
right.
never let me down since I had it. But my PC, oh man, I got some stories. But you done switched over to DaVinci Resolve, and I'm still on Premiere. I know obviously DaVinci Resolve is definitely code for color. I can't take that away. And I dabbled a little bit with editing in DaVinci Resolve, like for one of the episodes of the podcast, but you know how it is when you so used to something and then I haven't gotten there yet. But you like the third person I didn't talk to that said that they all in with DaVinci Resolve.
I turned around, so now no way I'm going any other editing software. I can say that like with 100% confidence. There's no way. You pay $300 for the studio license. You don't have to worry about a subscription. You get all the updates every single time they release a new version of DaVinci Resolve. It's a free update. You get two computers per serial number, so like you can have it on a mobile laptop, you can have it on your desktop or a PC at the crib. So it's just like the perks that come with it, and then of course the optimization. So like when you switch over to Mac and you're having those M1 chips inside the Mac, I know I'm getting real geeky and real techie. I'm sorry, y'all, but this is me. So it's like when you switch over to MacBooks, especially the newer models, you got these M1 chips, and having DaVinci being the most optimized software available over Final Cut, over Adobe Premiere in regards to rendering. Of course, that goes in exporting, playback. I shoot all of my projects. I shoot in 6K raw. I'm always shooting raw 6K. So having a computer that can keep up with my workflow and it's not bogging down with how long my timeline is monumental for me. So I had a desktop PC 2 years ago and I was using that and it was cool for what it was. But the cards get dated after a while. But when I switched over to Mac and I got the M1 chip in there, sheesh, it's a different ball game. Like I don't have any bottlenecks. My only bottleneck now is my creativity. I don't have any like physical bottlenecks with my computing software.
Man, that's what's up, man. You made me proud that I went on ahead and got the Mac, man. I'm not. I'll geek out on all of the specs and all of that. I said, look, just give me something at work. I went to Best Buy. I bought like three laptops in a 30-day period, and something was wrong with like each one of them. I said, man, just give me the Mac. Just give me. I said, give me the latest one. So I don't just give it to me because I ain't got time for it. So I'm happy. So man, so hey. So now you say my mentor, he was telling me about journaling, and I ain't gonna cap. I don't consistently do it, but when I do it, I do enjoy it. So now that you said it, I'm a really get back into it. I even got the little special books too, with the little strap on them and everything, like that actual book. So yeah, so I'm going. Yeah,
I dig, man. It's helped me tremendously, man. Like I have really bad tunnel vision. So when I have having something to allow me to break away and kind of like step outside that tunnel and talk about different aspects of my day has helped me as a man, has helped me as a business owner, has helped me as a father, a husband. You know what I mean? So that's helped me. It's helped me like tremendously for sure.
How did you hone in to like this is what I want to do? Cause you could be doing music videos, movies. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that you could be doing besides what you're doing. So how did you like narrow it down and like, okay, I'm only gonna focus on this, tunnel focus, as you say?
Yeah. So I was talking to my little brother Trey Marquise. Shout out to Trey. Last night actually. And the reason why I kind of zone in on the type of work that I do all the time is because when I was introduced to that class in my senior year in high school, she taught us how to get the results we wanted by ourselves. We really didn't need teams. So it was just like, because she taught us every single aspect that we needed to understand in order to produce quality work. So like when she would send us out of class, it'd be like, I mean, you could take somebody with you if you wanted to, of course. But a majority of the time, I was being sent out by myself to actually generate content, and I had to figure it out. So, and now that has kind of poured into what I do as a. I don't even really consider myself like a filmmaker anymore. It's like I really do consider myself an artist now, like because I don't feel like filmmaker encompasses everything that I'm able to do. So I feel like I'm selling my short with just that title. So it's just like as an artist, man, I feel like when I look at Picasso or when I look at these remarkable painters back in the day, man, they have these canvases, or even Alex Allen. Shout out to Alex. She's a muralist in South Bend. I did a documentary on her called 8 Days a Week, and I watched her generate her art. She did this huge mural at Jiffy Lube on Michigan and Ireland Road, and she did it by herself. This huge mural, it's over 30 feet, like probably tall and wide. And she did this mural by herself. And I kind of view my art like that. So like when anyone goes to my website or they go to my weddings or my corporate work for companies, my documentaries, my music videos, it's me from the top to the bottom. Because I view my art as like, I view a canvas as like, this is why I'm going to express my art. So I feel like I got into the bag where I was just like, I really want to do this when it didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like work, and I was able to sustain and provide for my family solely off what I love to do, like what my passion is. I don't know. I had a mentor, two mentors, big time when I first started. It was Trenton Lepp. He was based out of Vancouver, Canada, and it was Will Thomas, who does music videos, like especially like in the Christian rap industry. And man, I was bugging these dudes 24/7, just messaging them, and just trying to like get a bug in their ear and just trying to get a little bit of what they had, because Trent Lepp was amazing with short films, and then Will was like crazy with music videos, and that's what I was doing early on. And they kind of lent me some advice, and I was just like, I want to do this, man, because I see them doing it at such a high level and able to sustain and maintain with just doing what they love to do. And I was like, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. So like them first two clients that I talked about earlier, as far as the wedding and the drum promotion I did for Cameron, it was just like, I can do this and make money from it. So, but there's also a balance too, because sometimes it's kind of hard to differentiate passion from work because I do so much of it on the work side that I want to be able to express my joy that I get from it, like in my passion work. So that's why I'll try to do passion pieces every once in a while to kind of just make sure that I am giving to that passion. And it's not kind of just like slowly burning out because I'm doing so much work.
Okay. Got you. That make a lot of sense. I remember hitting up Will Thomas at his DMs too, asking him for some advice as well. And then when I tapped in with Thizzle, he really started tapping it more in with me then. So shout out to them.
Shout out.
Yeah. So.
Shout out. I still talk to Will to this day. Like I'll hit him up every once in a while. He'll see my posts or like steals from my work and stuff. And to hear him say the stuff that he says about my stuff, it's just like, I'll be so humble, dog. Like, cause these are dudes that I looked up to. Like, and I still do. Like I look at their stuff and I'm just like, bro, like you doing what you do at such a high level. And for people to say, look at my stuff and feel like it's at a high level. Because at the end of the day, man, my art, when I put out passion projects, I'm not looking for praise or criticism. I'm not looking for people to tell me that it looks amazing or that it is so well done or pieced together. And then I'm definitely not looking for people to say, like, why did you do it like this? You should have did it like this. Because my art is a reflection of my artistry at that point in time. Like, unless I'm doing like a paid gig for a client and they're paying me for a certain look, then of course I have to consider what they need. But when it's my work, I'm doing it to my liking. So it's like, I'm not worried about any like outside praise or criticism because it's just like, I'm pleased with what I'm producing. And shoot, there may be mistakes and stuff in there, but again, that's a reflection of where I was in my artistry at that point in time. So I view it as a journey. I think I was listening to a podcast with Kyrie Irving it was on I Am Athlete. He said, he was talking about his conversation with Kobe and him trying to win his first championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And he said that Kobe told him to enjoy the process leading up to the championship. Like, there's going to be shortcomings. There's going to be things you need to work on, things that you fail at, and you got to enjoy. And I've never heard it put like that. You got to enjoy the climb to the top of the mountain. Yeah, the top of the mountain have its own joy once you get there, but enjoy that climb because when you get to the top, you're going to reflect on that climb. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like being able to kind of view it like that and view my art in that scope and that lens has really helped me with, just the public consuming my artwork.
Man, as you was talking about that, it just reminded me when I was in Africa and I climbed Tabletop Mountain. I want to say it's the second largest mountain in the world, but I could be wrong. If not, it's definitely the largest in Africa. And it took me 8 hours to climb that mountain. And it takes the average person, I think they say about maybe 2 to 4 hours. So I said, so you said I'm the first obese man to climb a mountain? That's what you tried to tell me?
Hey, you did tell the truth.
Man, that wasn't no easy thing. And I remember the thing about it was, one, I thought it was gonna be like concession stands along the way. Like, I knew it was a mountain, but it's an attraction. So in my mind, it's gonna be concession stands with popcorn, the juice. It's gonna be people along the way take pictures. I'm thinking it's gonna be like that. I'm slow, forgive me. So, and it kind of started off like some steps, real easy. Man, next thing I know, I'm in there pulling on branches, my shirt off, I got gloves on. I'm like, Lord, how we finna get through this? And I see mountain lions, goats, like all type of stuff. Wrong move, I would have fell off the mountain. And I remember we started off as a group, and next thing I know, people would go ahead and further. And there was this one guy, pastor, with me. He was like, I'm with you to the end, brother. I was like, no, go ahead. He's like, no, I'm with you, man. I looked up, that dude was gone. Before I knew it, I was by myself climbing this mountain alone. And it was just me and God. But the beauty about it, though, was God was ministering me the whole way. And he was talking a whole lot. And I wish I would have journaled or took a voice note. But the main thing I remember God was telling me is that this is kind of how life is going to be. No, it's just always going to. You have people say they're going to be with you, but they really not. Because where they at right now, and they said that they was going to be with you. It's just me and you. So focus on me, and I'm going to get you through. Sure. So that's kind of how I looked at it. But the most fulfilling part is, though, is when I made it to the top, and it was this Australian guy. He was Australian. He said, you made it to the top, mate. I said, yeah, tired as I don't know what. And I'll never forget, he said, that's perseverance. Yeah. So Yeah, so I don't know why I told a story because you
That worked.
yeah,
That worked.
yeah.
Everything tied in, bro. I'm taking stuff from it too.
So man, so I appreciate you sharing that. And I watched the podcast and they was talking about. No, it wasn't a podcast. I'm on this thing called the morningmeetup.com with David Shands. And he brought on a special guest, which they do a lot. And anyway, the guy who came on, he was talking about how like success is kind of like peaks and valleys. So you're going to have your season where you go up, and then you got that season where it's going to be down. And he was saying that success of your journey it's not like a straight line you start here and then it just goes straight up. There's always a little drop up, drop, then up, drop, then up.
That's the pros and cons of entrepreneurship. It's tough.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me entrepreneurship is probably one of the toughest thing that you could ever do in your life. For real.
Seriously.
It's not for the faint. It's not for the faint at heart. It's not for the weak. And that's why I like to bring on full-time entrepreneurs, because I know it's not there's no shade to the ones that work a 9-to-5 job or anything, but it's kind of like when I go fishing. I take a lot of pride and joy, and I enjoy fishing because I got to sit there for hours or however long, and I got to catch this fish, and I got to try all different types of techniques, different types of baits. I got to go here, go there, and if none of that don't work, I don't eat. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Versus or going to the grocery store, I could just buy that fish seasoned up and I'm good to go. But if I want to eat some fish, especially I like bluegill, they don't really sell those in the grocery store. You got to go out there, you got to catch them yourself. Right. But take certain bait, take certain pole, you got to know that. You see what I'm saying? So it's a difference. So it's like hunting. So I enjoy coming back with something that I spend my time with. And I pulled this out of water myself, brought it back home, cleaned it, gutted out, got the oil ready, put it in a little seasoning, dropped it in the oil. It's a whole nother feeling that come along with doing that versus let me go to the store and grab some tilapia, some catfish and season it up real quick. It's a whole other feeling. So man, I love it. But it's not easy, but I couldn't see myself doing anything else in the world besides being this. I've been at it too long. I say I don't have no plan B or no C or D.
It's gotta work, right?
It's got like what Nehemiah Davis says. He said it has to work or it has to work. That's it. It has to. It's no other option. I can't go back. I wouldn't even fit in a workplace no more with everything that I know now. As far as I couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, I'm in the same place. I think I used to do a lot of mind ministry. It was like a circuit. We used to travel the Midwest, East Coast, to different churches, just ministering through the art of mind, pantomime. And there was this one song that I had lead on. It was by William Murphy, and it's called "Created to Worship." And I had the whole song. I was tagging the mug into the song. But one of the lines in the song says, he talks about how the Lord was talking to him, and he said the Lord was saying, "You tried to work a 9-to-5 job, and that didn't work because you didn't fit in. I created you to worship and adore me." And listen, man, my first job, I can count how many jobs I've had. I probably need another set of hands, especially early on, trying to find my way as a man, especially as a young man. And stuff just I don't know, man. Sometimes I remember I was working. Took a job at this agriculture plant last year. COVID had hit. Of course, you've seen a reduction in clients because everybody in the crib. Can't nobody go out quarantining and everything. So work starts to dip. So I'm just like, all right, I gotta find something. I got a family to feed. So I went out and I got this job at this agriculture plant, and I was working there. But my passion for video never stopped. I would bring my camera. I was a manager there, so I had a whole team I was managing. Did the hiring, the policy handbook, employee policy handbook, all that stuff. And I would take my camera up there and I would just get shots of the machinery because I was like, man, this would probably look good on film. And I would just come in there, just get shots. And I remember one time I had pieced it together. I was at work, it was on my break. Went into my editing software on my laptop. I pieced it together. And one of the employees that I hired seen it, and she looked at me and said, "Why are you working here?" Hey, bro, like that question plagued my mind from that day. Like it was just like, it was mad encouraging to hear somebody say that, like think of like so highly of my work, to be like, why are you working here? Because I was like the top of the, you know what I mean? I'm top of the hierarchy when it came to, the staff there. But it was just like, nah, it seemed like people understood. And that's, I mean, you got to understand that the Lord will use whispers to actually communicate. It's not always this huge or loud audible voice, but rather the Holy Spirit tends to whisper a lot. And it's typically when we are in the middle of storms. But it was like, I've learned so much from being in that environment, and I left and I went full time back into video work. And it's been tough. It's tough because, like you said earlier, I believe being an entrepreneur is harder than working a 9 to 5, because you don't know when your next meal is coming in. It's like, you got to go out and you got to work. When you work a 9 to 5, like, all right, I got to clock in at this address, clock out at that address, and I got a check coming to direct deposit to my bank account, or whatever the case may be. But when you're an entrepreneur, you got to go and get the bag. You have to go out. And I'm such an introvert at times, but I got extrovert abilities. So I'm able to go out and speak to people and learn from people and converse with people and everything. But sometimes I choose to be, to myself a lot. And entrepreneurship will kind of bring you out of that shell and put you in front of people. Like this podcast. Right? For real.
I was definitely an introvert before I started doing this, the podcast. And one of the reasons why I started the podcast is because, like, a little bit after I had quit my job, and my years be getting blurry, so I don't know, it could have been a couple years. But however, after I quit my job, at some point I came to the conclusion, like, dude, I want to go higher than where I'm at. Like, this is cool, but the thing that worked for me is, before I quit my job, somebody said, you need to define what success looks like for you, so that you're not just all over the place. And I said, so they said, so what's success going to be to you? I said, well, okay, if I quit my job, I said, if I could be able to pay my bills, take care of my family, then that's success to me. And that's what happened for a while, for a long time. That's exactly what happened. I was just able to pay my bills, like working a regular job, but except for I was like working for myself. But so I was like, that's cool. But I was like, I want more. This worked for a while. Now I need more. So what could I do? I was like, well, if I start a podcast, I could be around people who know more about business and entrepreneurship than I can. I can ask them questions. And then that's what helped me grow, getting mentors more. That's what helped me up grow, getting mentors, starting a podcast, meeting with individuals like you on and off camera, as well as and building those relationships. And that's what, you know what I'm saying, gave me that confidence. But like you say, and again, I wasn't really no talker. I'm an introvert. Like I shut down. I stopped talking quick. Like on camera, you may see me like talk, or social media. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But in regards to building your business and networking and so forth, you have to get out there and you have to talk. It's like that introvert. It's a switch now. I know exactly where it's at. Just flip it off, or you just go, because you got to. Because you, like, if I don't talk, then my family don't eat. And at the end of the day, it's simple as that. So. I heard this one rapper say, hey, disconnect bills, don't turn my wife on. I'll never forget that. That's not, I was like, and I wasn't even married when I first heard that. So I thought I got married that really at home then, so. So got to get out there and network, got to have those conversations, got to be meeting with people, getting out of your comfort zone, basically. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I used to say that all the time. Yeah, that's crazy. I used to say that all the time. For sure, I'm with that. I'm totally in agreement with that statement, for sure.
I tell people all the time, like if you feeling like good and everything seems to be going right and everything, then you ain't growing. You stuck. Yeah. And you can't go no further. Because when you go higher, that's when you feel like this anxious, like some stuff just happened. It's just that's true growth. right there. Yeah. So, yeah. But so what would you say is like the most fulfilling part of being an entrepreneur to you?
Time with my family. I think as an entrepreneur, you can easily get into a space where you just like, I gotta stay busy because I gotta, bring in X, Y, and Z. But this the thing, man. Nobody's gonna watch my videos 100 years from now. You're just not gonna be watching my stuff. And it's just like, there has to be a balance between my work and my family. And my family should always weigh a little bit heavier than my work. I should be investing more. I should, and I do, invest into my wife and my children because even though somebody won't see my work maybe 100 years from now, you may still see the effects of me loving my children 100 years from now, because if I love my children, they love their children, then their children love their children. You know what I mean? And it trickles down to that 100-year mark. So what I'm doing now in the moment should never be outweighed by work. Because, in the grand scheme of things, man, it's just like, this stuff is so minute. This is like temporary entertainment. And I understand that now. That's why I don't take things so seriously anymore. But it's just like the intentionality with my family, that stuff is going to live on well past when I leave this earth. Because like what I'm doing and how I'm interacting with people, whether that be encouraging them, empathizing with them, sympathizing with them, that stuff trickles down, and I understand it now. And so I think the most fulfilling part is having the ability to not have to be away from the crib and work a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 9 or whatever, but more so be intentional with my kids, be intentional with my wife, spend time with her, you know what I mean? Have conversations with her, and be really involved and tapped in. So that just like I'm tapped into, like if I'm directing an interview and I got to make sure I'm pulling like certain answers out of the talent to make sure the video is great in my eyes, I got to do that times 10 with my family. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think the most fulfilling part is me understanding that my family is way more important than anything that y'all see me do as far as creative arts.
Family is definitely important. As you were speaking, it kind of reminded me of this book that I had read. It's called The One Thing. I don't know who wrote it, but it's called The One Thing, and it's like one thing, all black. So I want to look it up. But anyway, in the book, he gave this illustrational example. He said, your business is a rubber ball. And then he said, your family and relationships are like a glass ball or a glass cup, and your health is like a glass, and so forth. And he says, and we juggling as entrepreneurs, we got to juggle all of these different things, the business, the family, health, all that stuff. We got to juggle all of this stuff. But he's saying the business is a rubber ball. If you drop that, it'll bounce back. It'll be okay. But if you drop the ball in regards to your family or your health, that's glass. It's a possibility that when you drop it, it may break, it may not. It could get a crack, it could get a nick, you don't know. But that's the chance that you take.
Yeah, buddy.
So when he said that kind of put some things into perspective, like, okay, what's really, it's like, family is important, but is it really important? Because I know people that do exactly what we do, but they tired, they burnt out, no time for the family. It's like it's a steady going thing. And I value, like you, I value my family. I want to spend time with family. We've been going a lot of fishing and so forth lately. So, hey, that's important. Family.
For sure. That time, man, investing that time. I invested so much time into this craft over the last 11 years. A lot. And it's just like my son, my oldest, is getting ready to be 10. He's graduating in 2030. And it seemed distant, but that's only 8 years for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I want to make sure I'm investing as much as I can into this dude. You know what I mean? So that, man, when I'm gone, he's like, I'm preparing him for the days. I'm preparing him, my daughter, and my youngest son for when I'm not here no more. Because it's gonna come a time when daddy ain't here no more. And are you guys gonna be in a mental capacity Is your character gonna be able to endure your dad not being here? But my thing is making sure that all this, I don't even want to call it wisdom because it seems like I'm still learning so much. But everything that I've learned over the course of these 33 years here on earth, especially the things that I can tell them to help spare them, maybe like heartache or pain or adversity as they grow, man, just giving them what I have. Just giving them what I have and having those conversations with them because my kids are extremely smart. And I just want to be able to just pour into them, man, and have them learn from my mistakes as well. So, but yeah, it's just perspective, man. It wasn't always like this for me. It was just more so, it was just like, but me understanding that I have tunnel vision, it's good, but it's a lot of bad that comes with tunnel vision as well because people may not hear from me for a long time, and it's never intentional. It's just like if I'm focused on one thing, I just don't know how long the tunnel is before I get out of that tunnel. It's just like I can't see anything outside the tunnel sometimes. So, and I mean, it helps creativity wise. If I need to get a project done or something like that, or if I'm intent on it being looking a certain way or something. But I think when it comes to me having a family and just growing as a man, I realized some of the attributes that I have with my personality type aren't always the most conducive for the health and growth of my family. So just attacking those things head on and getting it together, man. I don't know, turning 33 was I don't know, I think 33 was the best birthday I've ever had. It was April 12th, this past April. And I don't know, it was just something that it was like a light that went off, man. It was just understand and see things so much clearer now. And I know it's like, Jesus, 33, that ministry year, it's like, I don't know if we got any correspondence, man, but I think I just see things a lot differently now, man. And I just understand like what we really here for and what I'm really here for. And it's just like to give God glory. I'm sorry, man. It's like, that's my job. And everything that I do is just like that he gets the glory, and that he's getting the glory from me speaking. He's going to get the glory from my interaction with people. Like when people meet me, it's going to be hard for them to hear me talk and not hear me talk about my faith. Because at the end of the day, like I really truly believe that is what matters, man, because this 70 to 90 years we may have here on earth is so minute in the scope of eternity. It's like we got a whole nother thing after this. And it's just like, what are we doing to invest in that aspect? Like what's next? We plan for college, we plan for jobs, we plan for retirement, we plan for our kids to get older and all this stuff. What about our eternity? Like, I'm really big on that. I'm extremely big on that because it could be, I can cross that realm today. Cross that realm tomorrow. One of my babies can cross that realm. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know what the Lord has in store, man. But at the same time, it's just like, I want to live life with the gospel in the forefront of everything that I do. And that's just who I am. That's who he's created me to be. And I'm just like, I got to continue to flesh out the call that he has on my life in whatever I do, because I'm really free spirited. So it's just like, I may be like, because there was a time where I considered stopping doing the video. Like, I'll tell a lot of people this, but there was a time that I considered stop doing video because I wasn't really finding the joy in it. And so, but sometimes I'll do like I'll teach mime, or I like to speak to people. I like to speak to huge like groups of people. I'm not afraid to public speaking on any type of stage. Like this is like I feel like God has gifted me in that arena. But it's just like whatever I do, I just want to make sure that he's at the forefront of what I do. So right now it's video. I don't know what it's gonna be 5 years from now. It may still be film. It may not be. But whatever I'm doing, I'm gonna make sure that he's getting the glory from it.
How do you balance excuse me, how do you balance out all of that? Like, how do you balance, in other words, how do you give God his time, give your family your time, and give yourself personal type time, and then give the business the time that he needs? How do you make those like work?
Yeah, so with my tunnel vision, it's hard to do that because my tunnel vision is bad. I'm just being transparent. So what I've learned to do along with journaling is schedule out my days. And it has to be concise. Like if there's like too much wiggle room or if I'm being lax on a certain day, I may fall short on expectations that I set for myself previously. But it's just like attending to a schedule from top to bottom. So if it's like I'm gonna do this between these 2 hours, and then I'm gonna go spend some time with my daughter, have a tea party outside, then I'm gonna come back in the crib, I'm gonna answer some emails, then I'm gonna go and shoot some hoops with my son outside. I'm gonna go back at, and then shoot, I got reminders in my phone to pray every morning at 8. I think it's 8:30. 8:30. I get a reminder every morning to pray because sometimes I forget because I'm just going. You know what I mean? So I have to remind myself. So I'll be like, "Hey Siri, remind me to pray at 8:30 every day, weekdays and weekends." And like answer emails. Like so, as long as I'm kind of scheduling my days, I find that I'm decent. For the last few months, my best friend passed away April 16th, 4 days after my birthday. And it was it's been rough. It's been really rough for me. It's like been in a depression. And it's been hard for me mentally, especially being an introvert as well, to balance and want to impart into people. But I kind of had a realization, man. It was just like, if we only ministering, if I'm only speaking about the Lord and encouraging people when everything is good, I'm a part-time minister. It's like I'm not doing what the Lord has called me to do full time. It's like I'm literally doing it like part-time. So it's like even in the midst of me going through stuff, I got to be able to impart, like, because people are still looking to me for help in some way, shape, or form. And it's just like I can't just like shun them and turn them away. And I've understood that, like, if I'm a candle and my wick is burning and my wick goes out, say like some adversity hits and it's like wind and it blows that wick out, I understand that the Lord is like, he ignites my flame. So it's like when I feel myself being weak and I have to lean on him, he reignites that flame and I'm ready to go again. So it's like taking solace and finding my peace, my hope, and my joy inside of Jesus. And then that kind of flushes it out practically in my day-to-day life. And it starts again with that scheduling and just being intentional with my time. Intentionality has been big for me growing into manhood. It's just been like, don't be so lackadaisical, like especially with your children. Like what we're doing with our children now are history lessons for them when they're my age. So like when my son is 33 and my daughter's 30, they're going to be like, man, I remember when my dad did X, Y, and Z when I was 10, when I was 9, when I was 8. So what I'm doing now, they're going to talk about in their adult years. And it's either going to have a positive or negative effect on them. So it's like being intentional with them now. I'm trying to make sure that the memories that they have and the things that they reflect on 20, 30 years from now are things that are going to help them and build their character, because I'm intentionally trying to steer them into the right direction. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yeah, that the balance thing, bro, like to get back to it, is just being intentional, scheduling stuff, and making sure I got my alone time as well, because I definitely been needing that with the passing of my bro. So, but yeah.
You do all your scheduling like the night before, week before.
When the trigger in my head, I need to put a reminder in my head every night to make a schedule for the next day. Because like sometimes I'll trigger it, a memory or a thought, and then I'll have to go in and schedule out my day. But I make sure I give myself some wiggle room too, to kind of just like let things flow, because I don't want it to be too structured. Because then if it's too structured and life happens, then your schedule has to change. So it's like I want to make sure that there's some wiggle room in there as well, and it's not so just layered, so that I'm just like, dang, I didn't do this, I didn't do that because this happened, or the car went down, or whatever the case may be. It's just like you got to make sure that there's room in there for growth.
Do any of your kids take interest in the business of what you do, or they like?
Nah, they don't. I ain't gonna lie. Like I try to get my son involved, and the thing is, man, my son loves me so much that he will grab a camera just so he can go shoot with me. He don't care about what we're doing, It's just so that he could be with me, man. And it's just like when I see stuff like that, it's just like, sheesh. Like, my son is being intentional. How much more should I be intentional with him? So it's just like, but they don't have no interest really at all. I think my son is interested in sports and video games. I mean, he's 9. So then, and my daughter is like gymnastics and just quality time. And then my 1-year-old is crazy. So, I mean, it ain't much I can say about it, but it's big.
Man, so if it's which I know other photographers, videographers is out there watching it, ones that's like been started or just getting started, like what's some advice? Well, let's start off with the ones who just getting started. What advice would you give to them?
Okay. This is going different from everything that's on YouTube. I have not seen anybody on YouTube say this. And I watch like a lot of videos where you talk about advice and stuff and they say gear doesn't matter. I completely disagree. And the reason why I disagree is because not based off of public consumption of art, but rather my expectancy for my art. So it's just like, if I want my art to look a certain way, I'm not going to produce it until I have what I need to make it look the way I want it to look. That goes from audio, lighting, lenses, camera, resolution, everything comes into play with that. So it's like, for me, there are some projects that I would not do until I had certain gear because there was a certain way that I wanted it to look. Even though I know I could probably tell the story the same, I wanted it to look a certain way because at the end of the day, it's my art. It's my art. Like, this is my stuff. So it's like, y'all gonna have to wait. But I would tell any upcoming artist to do you. Do what makes you happy. If you want to break the fourth wall in your work, break it. Like, my interviews are not typical interview settings. Like, I don't do like have them sitting at an angle. That's not my style. I shoot the way I want to shoot. I grade the way I want to grade. I color it the way I want to color because at the end of the day, when I'm doing passion projects, like I said, it's my stuff. So I want it to look the way I want it to look. So anybody coming up and I would say just do not be consumed or super concerned with what people think about your stuff. Like, if you happy with it, then be happy with it. Turn the comments off on the YouTube video when you post it if you're worried about people's reactions to it. Like, just post your stuff or don't even check your notifications when the comments do, good or bad. And just continue to make authentic and organic work and make it to your liking. Again, this stuff I just acquired over time, bro. This is just me. And like, and I feel like the next person, or you may interview another filmmaker and it's a completely different, perspective on the same questions probably. But it's just like, this is just me. This is my vantage point. This is my lens. Like, no pun intended. It's just like, this is my life. And I'm just telling y'all what I have encountered in my life. And if you can take aspects or different points of this conversation that you want to try or you think actually will help you, do so. Or you just like, I don't think that'll work for me. Okay. So it's just like, but this is me. This is me. And like, when you see my art, it's me, top to bottom.
Got any book recommendations?
Man, I got a whole bunch of books I have not read yet. They look nice on the shelf though, but I think it look like, oh, you be reading? Nah, I don't. But let me see. I'm gonna shout Eric Mason out. There's a book called I think it's Biblical Manhood. It's fire. I read that a couple years ago, and it really helped me out. Definitely highlighted a whole bunch of pages in that book. Let me think, man. If I'm being completely honest, when it comes to like consuming wisdom, I'm more so extremely visual and subliminal. So like for like the last 9 months, I consumed so much media, and was able to take away different things that I understand that the director or the writer was effectively trying to communicate in their art, and kind of just understand what they're saying. So like, I think movies, television, documentaries have been my books as of late, because I've learned so much from them. Like, so much. It's I mean, they are visual books in my opinion. Just like they legit visual books, YouTube videos. There are certain channels like The Pivot. Shout out to them brothers. They inspire me on a completely different level. And let me think, is there anything else YouTube wise that I'd be like, you need to watch him. Danny Gervitz on YouTube. He does a lot of solo filmmaking. Same thing I do. And it's like, and let me say this. When I say that I'm like, a lot of my stuff, majority of my stuff is completely me, it's not to sound pretentious or arrogant, but it's more so, again, this is how I was taught coming into it. So it's just like, in filmmaking, I've learned to be a jack of all trades and be able to get things done solely off my knowledge because of how long I've been doing this. So it's just like I'm not shying away or shunning the filmmaking community, but it's just like when it comes to my art, especially stuff that I'm working on as an individual, I just tend to do it by myself. But I'm not opposed to collaborating. I'm not. Like, I will collaborate and, shoot some dope stuff with, different people. But for the most part, I'm just a one-man band. Just a one-man band. Because I feel like it's my canvas. I want you to be able to understand, like, when the docuseries comes out for the girls basketball team, it's me 100%, like top to bottom, everything. So it's just like everybody will get a opportunity to see my vantage point of this basketball team throughout the course of their season. This is just one man's vantage point as he followed them throughout the course of their season. I realized at the end of the season that I wasn't documenting their season. I was documenting them. And so you're going to see growth on a personal level, and that I don't think you would expect to see in a basketball docuseries at all. So I think it's going to be a lot different than what you would think or that you would, are you accustomed to.